Hey everybody, Bridgette and Dolgoff, Conscious of Economics and Urban Farm Project. Yep, I have a little time to do videos of stuff I'm just thinking about here. Anyway, today at the campground, we're here at the desert campground. Down there you can see like a little lake. It's actually a desert lake, so it's only about waist deep all the way across. Yeah, it's pretty cool. And then today we did a walk all the way over there. There's like sand dunes along there, and before it started getting warm, and we did a trail called the Trail of Dunes, and it was wet. The sand was wet from the rain, so I was able to take off my flip-flops and walk in some nice wet sand, and just smelled so incredibly yum. Anyway, I got my laundry done. You know what? Boxer shorts and hiking pants are so good to have when you're doing this kind of stuff, because they wash up pretty fast and then they dry pretty fast. All right. That's my little camp. And that's more of my little camp. Yeah, it's kind of exciting. But anyway, I wanted to talk about... Well, I wanted to talk about maybe the letter... Oh, that's cold. The letter R. So nice. Jin's in the van taking a nap because her hips are a little bit sore because we've been, hiking in the mornings, and she thinks she's 5 and she tries to chase rabbits. So she passes out for most of the day, comes out for dinner. Anyway, I was thinking about the letter R and how many interesting words that come from the letter R that are, I don't want to say like on the positive side, but are kind of like bridge words and words that help us to clean up and reactivate. But words that I was thinking about that start with R, so R being a 9 in numerology, which is the big picture, putting things together, getting all the pieces for the puzzle, finishing the puzzle, closing down things, so that you can start a new cycle. So I was thinking about with the rain, like this incredible rain, like rain I haven't seen in this area for years, right? So I know the good guys are winning because the drought's coming to an end, and it's like end of June, July, and we're having these massive rains. It was incredible. I mean, no lightning, no thunder, just rained all night. Started yesterday afternoon and just pounded. It was just amazing. Got a little plane going by. And so while I was out doing the dunes, I was thinking about all the words, like, it's interesting. Rain could be purification. It could be replenishing, restoration. Like, here in the desert, you see how dry things are. But then, you look at like an anthill that got bombed by, the rain. And what are they doing? They're reconstructing, reconfiguring, So thinking about how interesting the word, letter R is. And how it plays into, the end of a cycle. Reactivation, replenishing, reconfiguring, reconnecting, reconstruction. But, you know, rain, like I said, not for everybody. It's purifying. You know, for the ants, it means that, you know, everything got busted up and they have to get to work. Instead of finding food, they've got to do some major overhaul, some reconstruction. So it's interesting, you know, like not one thing applies to everything across the board. And what feels, you know, revitalizing, purifying, restorative, may be to another being damaging and have to put them through a period of going backwards and redoing, right? Refortifying, redoing. So I was thinking about that today. I was watching these big ant hills, and they're not out searching for food because they're all busy doing the cleanup. And how, you know, I think in modern society we use language and words to indicate that that's the same thing for everybody, when the one experience may be good for someone and may be bad for another, maybe good for a person and bad for nature, maybe good for nature but bad for people. I was also thinking about, like, oh, how hard I've like worked kind of since 2016, like 90 to 100 hours a week, you know, mostly not getting paid, but, you know, trying to do all the things you do when you're like self-employed. Learn how to build websites, update websites, do blogs, just, you know, all the little bills you have to pay, and how time consuming that all is. And, you know, you're trapped inside and you don't get out. And the thing about being outside that I love so much is contrast. I mean, you know, since I've been homeless here, out here in the desert campground, like I've had to deal with severe heat, no shade, then some shade, how to move things, you know, moving things around my camp so my ice stays longer in my ice chest. So I have to monitor everything during the day. And then torrential rainstorm, full moon, that was really bright, you know, a couple nights, keeping it awake. And yeah. And just simple, you know, contrast, you know, washing my pants in a bucket versus, you know, quickly throwing everything into laundry. So you think about like how much intentional attention that I put into washing my clothes, more so than if I put them in a washer and dryer. And then just the contrast to everything. I mean, the birds start waking up at 4 a.m. You get up, it's nice and cool. I had to put a coat on this morning, but it'll get 100 degrees today. And just the contrast, cold and heat and light and dark and sound and quiet and color and daylight and nighttime and heat and coolness. I already said that, but the contrast. And then you've got all this color, you know what I mean? You got all this color everywhere. And it's so amazing, like, you know, I just so needed nature. I've always been in nature since I was a little girl. I spend the summers kind of up on the backside of Yosemite, Pine Flat Reservoir, you know, barefoot and nappy-haired all summer, catching catfish and eating all kinds of stuff. You know, my uncle would barbecue. And so my family were huge outdoor people. So I miss things like sleeping on the ground in a tent, touching nature, walking barefoot, smelling everything and seeing what it's doing. So it's like restorative to my soul and who I am. But the contrast and everything. I mean, just taking your shoes off and walking through sand dunes It's just like you have, I mean, probably not for everybody. I mean, some people's, idea of grounding and health is sterility, too much showering and perfume and whatever else, needs to happen. So for me, this is living. Anyway, contrast is my word this week. Contrast. And the contrast of how, how do I want to live going forward? What does that look like? And how do I hold it there too, and not let it slip away? And yeah. Okay, everybody, that's it. That's your video for today. Have a great day. Talk to you soon.